Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk more about what Caitlyn Clark said about white privilege, what she might have got wrong, and why she can't win, and how it might hurt the WNBA. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. So I want to cut Caitlyn Clark some slack because she's 22 years old, and she's not going to get everything exactly right, even though she does have advisors. And I don't think she got everything exactly right in what she said, but she got it more right than people are giving her credit for, because she did say that she earned everything that she's got so far. And then she said she had white privilege. So I think if you look at that and break it down, and there's two aspects to white privilege. One is the media coverage and her popularity, which are, of course, related. And one is her ability and accomplishments. Now, all that she earned on her own. Being white didn't help her any in basketball. I think we've covered that before. In fact, you're underrated if you're white because people see you as unathletic and slow. But in terms of her being popular and getting more media coverage, yes, her being white helped in that area. So in essence, she said that, but people didn't see the nuance of what she said because they hear what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. But if she had clarified that, I think it would have been better in what she said. And I think this would have gone over better. But some people are upset, and predictably, they said they're not going to watch her anymore. And I still maintain that's not a good reason for not watching an athlete, because you didn't like her politics or what she said, unless it was really, really awful. Like, where she killed two people in cold blood and got away with it,
Or just or she's Cheryl Swoops.
Or she's Cheryl Swoops, yeah. You can see not following her for what she says. But that's extreme. And I don't think this is extreme. I think one person said, okay, this just justifies all the physical abuse she received. And I said, yeah, people said she's naive to think that she wasn't being targeted and all that. And I go, I don't think she's naive. I think she's lying. I really think she realizes that, but she doesn't think it does any good to say that she was targeted or that she was being abused, because they're going to continue it anyways. So why give them more ammunition? Right. Other people said, well, you gave in to the bullies, and now that you gave them an inch, they're just going to keep taking more away from you. And the woke mob is going to win because they're going to keep taking from you. What do you think, Rob?
First, I'm really tired of that stupid woke mob stuff. It really annoys me. Whether it's wokeness and woke that, whatever. It's like, I already told you what it means, but it's one of these phrases where people just take that and go. She owes nothing. The whole thing is she doesn't really give a crap about these people. She's not gonna sway them over to her side. And the ones that dropped off, that's good. Like, it's just like, it's like if you have someone doesn't like you, they're not gonna like you. They're not gonna force them to like you. So, and what they say, whatever, you say, okay, that's good for you. I'm happy for you. Go on and enjoy your life, your miserable life. That doesn't make any sense. And she's just, that's not compared to what she went through during the season. These comments are definitely not going to affect her, because she doesn't really care. Right. That's why I like her. She doesn't care.
No, it's not going to stop some people from hating her anymore, because I'm telling you, they're blinded by the fact of the jealousy and envy of her because she gets so much attention and makes so much money. And I can tell you that there was a Gilbert Arenas podcast where they went on there, and of course they talked to Cheryl Swoops about her winning Time Athlete of the Year. Of course, she said, what's the criteria? Who else was considered? Of course, she didn't say that she thought Caitlyn Clark should win. And then they read her the quote about what she said about supporting the black women and white privilege, and she just rolled her eyes and sighed. And then Gilbert Arenas, of course, who is not very bright, said, well, she just wants to be invited to the barbecue. In other words, it didn't do any good with some people. Okay, they didn't do any good with them. They don't believe she said it for the right reason, or that she's telling the truth.
Not only does I'm sorry, Mark. Not only does she have her own barbecue, she has her own banquet and buffet. Caitlyn Clark. She doesn't need whatever barbecue. She doesn't want to go to that type of barbecue anyway, because why would she want to go to that type of barbecue? To tell you the truth, going to a barbecue,
Right.
people that hate you.
Well, Outkick, who is a conservative, they're a conservative podcast. They also have articles too. One person that wrote the article argued that she apologized for being white, which is hypocritical because Angel Reese is praised for being herself, apologetically herself, or unapologetically me is the name of her podcast. And they didn't exactly say it, they implied that her being black or a strong black woman is part of her appeal. But the media never stopped Caitlyn Clark that she should be ashamed of being white, which is a large part of who she is, according to them. That was their argument. They also argued Tiger Woods didn't have to apologize for being black, even though it clearly aided in his popularity, which is a good point. I would say that. But people attacked the fact that that the league was built by black women. And I pointed out yesterday, 1/3 of this big stars in this league are white. But people also said it was built by investors, mostly who are white, and by the black NBA players. So, because they support the league, because this league hasn't made money in 28 years. So, I think they're saying the people in the league are overstating the importance of the black women that built this league, is what they're saying.
Well, Mark, and then this, I don't know, like I said, this country with color. I mean, there's no strong white women. So if you're a strong, like, and a white woman who sticks up for and fights for a right, what does that make you? You know, that you're privileged? No, you're a woman. Women in general, just like blacks or minorities, they had to have a law passed for them to vote. So, I mean, they're definitely always trying to strive. It doesn't matter what color you are as a woman, you're always thought of as being lower than a male. You know, it doesn't matter, black or white male. So this is the point of this being a strong woman. It doesn't matter what color you are, Asian, black. I mean, the fact that, hey, she's a strong woman. And stop putting color into it. She's a strong white woman. She's a strong black woman. Of course, black women are strong in the struggle. But I mean, you mean to tell me no white woman has any kind of struggle, is not poor, and hasn't been impoverished? Like, I mean, that's what really drives me nuts about this thing. Stop with the color thing. She's a strong woman.
Too much color. Well, my question about building the league is: do you really want credit for building a league that has lost money for 28 straight years? That's not much of an accomplishment.
Right.
They want credit for this. And so, okay, whatever. So anyways, I mean, Juju, like someone pointed out, Juju Watkins, who the media is, pushing this year. And part of her popularity with the media is driven by the fact that she is black. And that's why they're supporting her, because they want to replace Caitlyn Clark as the face of women's basketball. So people are pointing out, it's okay to, Caitlyn Clark. Why is it okay to do that? Not okay to do that with Caitlyn Clark, when the media, publicize Caitlyn Clark and that influences her popularity. But why isn't okay for them to do it with Juju Watkins, who is black, and part of the reason they're supporting her is because she's black. So they think that's hypocritical.
One thing, Mark, is like, why? So if Caitlyn Clark's not that great, why do you have to have someone compare it? Everyone's comparing. Now all these people that are coming up, all the players are coming up, they're comparing them to Caitlyn Clark. They're not comparing them to Asia Wilson, to Breonna Stewart. They're comparing them to Caitlyn Clark. So there must be something to that. So she must be a very good athlete or notable. So you don't hear them compared to anybody else.
Going back to what I said before about what Caitlyn Clark said, where she said she earned everything she got. And then I said yesterday it was somewhat contradictory. Someone else said it was just contradictory. I said, no, it's only somewhat contradictory because there's two aspects to it. One is her ability and one is her popularity. So it wasn't as contradictory as it looked. That's what I wanted to point out. Now, another conservative host said, yes, there's a lot of stuff that's bad in our country throughout the years, U.S. history, slavery. And he said, but we have to be better than that. But I think we are now. And I think the blacks in our society and the women in our society and the lesbians in our society, anyone who's not a straight white male, are going to say, no, we're still not there yet. And that's my problem I have with the very far right, is they think, well, it's okay now. Everything's okay. We've corrected everything. And I'm saying, no, we haven't. And the very far left thinks there's those problems when they don't exist sometimes. In fact, I'll quote somebody else who said, let me see, the exact quote is, this is what the very far left does. You've got a culture of people who are looking to be offended about every single thing. Some people see race in everything. The very far left and the very far right are both wrong in this circumstance. And I don't think they're always wrong, but they've gone so far to the extreme right now. That's why I think they're wrong in these race issues and other issues that we're talking about right now.
Here's my thing. When I tell people about this, when they both sides, when they start saying that, I go, here's an easy solution. You have the Constitution, and you have and it says well, unfortunately, leave out women. But I mean, all you have to do, they always refer back to the, almost like with religion, we refer back to the good book. So they refer back to the Constitution. If we followed what the Constitution said, there wouldn't be any problem with race. All you have to do is follow what the Constitution says. And if you want to follow it, since you're so into it, to me it's very simple. You wouldn't have to worry about race and women and discrimination. Follow what the Constitution says, that you're the forefathers who were slave owners anyway. But at least they put in this follow the Constitution the way it is, that you like to pound your chest on and bring out stuff like that and bring other things up by the Constitution, Second Amendment and stuff like that. Why do you think? Like I said, why do you think they had to pass a law for someone who, just because they're a different color, has to vote? Doesn't that sound? It's very strange for a country to do that.
I don't know, Rob. This country is very strange to me. I would say it was strange to me that Temi, who supported Caitlyn Clark, said what she said, and she said a lot in a text. But the last line, "The Great White Hope Syndrome is at play again," is what I took offense to, because I don't think that's what's going on here. I think she's underrated because she's white, first of all, and I think that her popularity is only a small part of what's going on here. If she was only popular because she was white, which is or a huge reason, which is what Asia Wilson is implying, yes, I would agree with her. The Great White Hope Syndrome is at play again. And that's what she's implying. That's what I take offense to, because that's not the main reason for her popularity. It's clear that the main reason for her popularity, she's a great player, and she's very exciting, and she's got a likable personality. And that's exactly. That's a lot of factors right there.
Exactly. That's the main reason, Mark. That's the main reason. She's a fantastic ball player. And just look past the color. She's a great person to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch. Put the blinders on that way, as far as, looking as judging her. That's where the blinders should come on. Stop looking at her color and just look, hey, she's a great ball player.
And what's bothered me about this league from the very beginning, and from like ESPN and those bobbleheads over there, is that they think that this is the only league that wasn't built on past athletes in the past. And they have to really emphasize this all the time, to the point where they want Caitlyn Clark to acknowledge and overstate what she owes to the players, especially the black players who helped build this league. And that's what I have a problem with, because she's already said it. She already acknowledged, and she was on Saturday Night Live, and she acknowledged all the great. She only mentioned black players when she was on Saturday Night Live in terms of help build the league. Right. So she's already said it. She said it in front of a large audience, and it wasn't good enough. But yet Charles Barkley said that she doesn't owe these women anything. And he said, if anything, they owe Caitlyn what this young lady has already done for them in this league, and she has. I mean, she's made the league more popular, which makes them all a lot more money, and yet they don't even acknowledge it, let alone thank her. And I'm not saying they got to go shake her hand or thank her, but they don't even acknowledge it. So we're not even to the point where thank her. Did they want Caitlyn Clark to constantly acknowledge the whole history of the WNBA and how the league got grown? But meanwhile, she's really helping them a lot, and there doesn't seem to be any reciprocity back to her. That's the problem I have.
Yeah, exactly. No. Charter flights. Never had charter flights. 2 years ago, they charged the Liberty of over $1 million because they did a charter flight. They charged the team. The NBA charged a WNBA team because they used a charter flight, because that wasn't in their budget. Sorry. But now the teams can just fly around with the way they want now because of Caitlyn Clark.
Now the people that claim they're not going to follow her anymore. One person said, if you don't follow her for that reason, then you're no better than the woke mob you rail against.
There we go, the woke mob.
No, but they're saying that the woke mob, they were actually they're against the woke mob type of concept, I think is what they were saying. And you're giving in what they want by not following, because they don't want her to be popular. But if you stop following, she won't be popular. So they make a good point. You're giving into what they want. You're railing into them. Also, someone else said, well, Michael Jordan was smart. He stayed out of politics. But I want to point out the league didn't pressure him to get involved in the politics. They didn't pressure him. But this league has pressured Caitlyn Clark to get into politics because it's a very activist league. So she's at a disadvantage than Michael Jordan was at. It has nothing to do with white or black. It has to do with the fact that they're pressuring her to get involved in the politics. Of course, it has to do with race, but that's not the specifics. They didn't care Michael Jordan was black. They didn't. He took over the league because he was so popular.
They're still waiting for him to he hasn't said anything about her yet. They're still waiting for any kind of response.
You keep seeing these videos that pretend he says something and then it's never in him.
He has not.
Now, another conservative podcaster, Matt Walsh, he made this video a long time ago, like 3 months ago, about the cold reception from Caitlyn Clark. And he made a good point there in it. He said, these individuals want diversity in society because it's fairer. These people are minorities, or they're minorities, at least in business and stuff like that. And they want more diversity so they have the same opportunities as everybody else. But when it comes to diversity in the WNBA, or a minority, which is what Caitlyn Clark is, a straight white woman, they don't want diversity. They don't want that person, that minority, to have popularity.
Right.
So they're being very hypocritical here, and I think that's a good point.
Yeah, totally good point.
So another podcaster said the only thing that she will accomplish is that the fans that Caitlyn doesn't want to be her fans won't be her fans anymore. They might turn on her, but she doesn't care. She's got so many fans, she doesn't care. She's not on social media.
That's what I said. It's like they don't. Right. She's good. I can see her lying in bed, Mark, tossing and turning. Oh, these people don't like me. Oh, how am I going to survive?
Well,
no, she doesn't care.
There's comments on X, of course, like she said it too late. Call me when she takes a proper stance. How's that not a proper stance? I think she went overboard. Action speaks louder than words. She's done all sorts of things to try to help the people in this league. She went behind the scenes trying to get people money for away games that she went to. And tell me, she should. They said she shouldn't have accepted this award and give it to the person who deserves it. Seriously, she's the most influential and the best athlete in the country. You know, look at her college accomplishments. This is the whole year, so she did have an advantage because she had 2 seasons. She had 2/3 of her college season plus the WNBA season. One of the greatest rookies ever. Some say the greatest rookie ever. Maybe the greatest college basketball player, woman ever. And she had more of an impact on sports in this country since Michael Jordan. I mean, what more do you want for an athlete of the year if you're going to include impact and ability?
Yeah.
She doesn't have to win the MVP in the WNBA to win this award. So I think she was the obvious choice. In fact, if anybody else didn't get it, I thought it'd be a joke. Now, I don't know if this is going to hurt the WNBA or not. I think this will boil over, and I think people will start watching again. But this is what someone said. This is a comment made in someone else's video, not in one of ours. But it doesn't really matter where it was made. This is going to hurt the black population and mostly the WNBA in the end. Unknowingly to them, rejecting Caitlyn Clark's groveling as the public watches on will make regular folk realize that nothing is good enough. So why try? Therefore, they will completely disengage. They will go about their business, not support the other teams, and give other players a try. A person's willingness to do good wears thin if it's constantly rejected. The result will be far-reaching. Now, I don't know if it's going to be far-reaching, but I can see it hurting the WNBA because people are even more turned off to the other WNBA players in the league itself because they felt Caitlyn Clark got pressured into doing this, and she finally caved in. And I think she only caved in partly, but I think she did cave in somewhat. Maybe she just wanted to get some calls from a ref because people consider the refs too woke or whatever. Maybe she just wanted not be assaulted anymore when she drove to the basket and she thought this might help. I don't know. I don't know why she said it when she said it now. But she
Well, so
clarified
let me ask a quick question. Why is when people say woke, that's a bad thing?
Well,
If you're
it's
woke,
not
it's
considered
a
a bad
bad
thing by
thing.
the majority of the population, Rob. The
Well,
far
because
right
most of them don't.
considers it
They don't know
a
what it
bad.
means. People don't know what this damn word means, and it's driving me crazy. It doesn't mean
I know,
if you
Rob.
say they use it as a thing like it's a bad thing. Oh, you're woke. I'm woke. I woke up this morning, and then but I'm also woke because when I go outside, I pay attention to things. And observe. That's what woke means. It has nothing to do with any kind of political view or how you are. Woke means that when you walk out the door, make sure you look both ways and you pay attention to what you're doing, and that's what woke is. And it's like I said, I'm so really tired at the mis. And I'm
Well,
going to say
Rob,
it.
as you
I'm going to
noticed,
say it. White people take this word. They take words and then they try to make it like it's a bad thing, like liberal. Oh, you're a liberal. Oh, that's horrible. I don't want to be that. Because I care about people. I'm liberal because I care about people. There's something
I've
with the freaking woke
covered this
driving me nuts.
before about woke, and that's why I always use over woke, because woke means just be aware of inequities in our society and things like that. And the very far right has distorted the definition of woke, where everything is woke, even when it's really overly woke, or when it's woke, they say it's woke. So, and of course, in our live show, someone argued, well, we've changed the definition. Society's changed. No, society has not changed the definition. The very far right has changed the definition, but not everybody else has changed the definition. In fact, they did surveys, and people are in favor of wokeness. They're not in favor of over wokeness. They've done surveys on this. So the definition is not. It may change someday. Someday, overly woke will mean what overly woke to me means right now. But right now, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But they keep saying it, so that's fine. That's why the
the quote from this person: "Stop it! Just stop it!" Oh, it's really. It's not a bad thing. Oh, it's bad.
But I agree with them that. Well, we talked about it before, where people see race when it's not a racial problem, when it's not, doesn't really exist, they get offended by everything. That is a big problem with the very far left. And again, I don't think the very far of any extreme is always wrong, but right now they've gone so extreme in both directions. They almost always are wrong about everything having to do with race and everything else that's going on in our country. And because we keep getting wider and wider apart. And the people in the middle are really the majority, but the people in the ends are the ones that are very vocal.
And it seems to be the
That's
ones
what
that
it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's why it's a problem. They're very vocal.
Yeah.
People in the center. I've got conservative viewpoints. I have liberal viewpoints.
Yeah, I do
but
too.
I'm frustrated with the extremes right now.
The use of it just makes it like it's you're there. That's like a bad thing. We got to go against the woke society because what do you mean by woke? Because I don't agree with what you say, so I'm woke. What does that mean? So if I don't agree with your right wing or your whatever you're thinking about certain items that I'm bad, you got to put that word in there. That's so stupid. It's really stupid. Stop
like
using
PC.
that word. I mean, just stop using it. Oh God.
Yeah, some politically correct. Some politically correct was necessary. We were saying words that we shouldn't have been saying, but then they go too far for it. So I call it overly PC, and that's what I call it. I call it overly woke. You go too far with it, and that's what people pull back. That's where like 89% of the public said, "You 10% are going too far. Stop it."
Yeah.
So, anyways, but I think it was unfortunate that Caitlyn Clark can't win, and whether it hurts the WNBA or not, I will say, Rob, it looks like people say she caved in, and she did stand up to them her first year, and now it looks like she's not going to stand up to them to that degree. But in some way, she did when she said, "I earned everything I got so far," and she said that in a way. But my concern is that when the next big white superstar comes in the WNBA, and I don't think it's ever going to happen to this degree, they're going to treat her the same way as Caitlyn Clark. And in order to get them to stop, they're going to have to do what Caitlyn Clark did, where she acknowledges white privilege. That's what people are upset about. Like they won, the woke mob won, and that's what they're upset about. And there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that.
Here's my thing, Mark. Here's what I want Caitlyn Clark to do. She's going to go out there and she's going to kick butt next year. But also, I just hope, as far as when she's getting all the same kind of stuff from media and people, I wish she would just say I really don't care. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. I wish she would just have that don't care. I mean, she's taking the high road, but make a little more emphasis like, I don't care. Oh, they said this about you. So? I don't care. And that's it. What can they say after that? Like, oh, Caitlyn Clark says she doesn't care. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just starting playing basketball. So I wish she would do that.
I think she takes the high road too much and is not being honest about the fact that she was mistreated. And I figured,
not mistreated, abused.
Yes, she figured it wouldn't do any good to say I got mistreated because she didn't want to play the victimhood like they're doing. She didn't want to be like them. They play the victimhood.
Right.
The blacks and the lesbians in the league sometimes play the victimhood where they claim they're not getting any publicity or attention or money merely because they're black and they're lesbian. Mm-hmm. When in essence, some of the reason is they're not is because they have lousy personalities and aren't exciting players and aren't great players. And they don't want to acknowledge that is part of the problem. They want to it's much easier to claim this is because of race and sexuality,
right,
and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's a lot harder to admit you weren't good enough or exciting enough or likable enough. Some players aren't likable.
Yes, exactly.
Just look at the WNBA. The last two MVPs are not likable.
Right.
In fact, 3 because Asia Wilson won it 1 year ago and 3 years ago. Brandon Stewart won it 2 years ago. Neither one of them are likable. There's nothing to do with race. One's white, one's black. So
it's unlikable.
They're not exciting players. And most of women basketball players, by the general population, are not exciting basketball players because they're used to watching men's basketball, which is different. Caitlyn Clark was unique. The logo threes, the unbelievable passes, things of that nature. Her Michael Jordan type competitiveness attitude, that's unique. She had the it factor. She was just different. They're not willing to accept that. Until they accept that, they're always going to mistreat her and think she's overrated and gets too much publicity and too much money. They're never going to accept it, though. They're never going to accept that. That's uncomfortable for them to admit that deep down inside. And when she becomes, which I think will happen this year, some people think has already happened, the best player in the league and an MVP and win some championship, they're going to be even more jealous and envious of her because she's going to get even more attention. And now she has accomplishments. They can't say she can't win a championship. They can't say she's not great. You know, they can't say that. So it's going to get worse in some ways before it gets better. But she can't win. And so let us know what you think. And if you're upset that what she said, just go watch her play. That's the best thing to do, and just forget about it. That's my advice. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And if you want to join us for our live show, we can talk about this. It's every Monday, 6 to 8 Eastern time, except for major holidays. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to donate to this channel, you can with super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace out. All right. I got to go to the bathroom.